Can you hear me, Arun?
Yes, Pravina.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, Pravina, can you share the screen? Let's get started.
Okay, can you hear me, Arun?
Yes. Hi all, I am Arunachalam. I am from HSaware, and we are here today to present about the how to perform 100% data validation in big data testing. And Pravina, you can go ahead. Pravina, you can unmute and we can get started. Pravina, you are able to hear me? We are not able to hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, Pravina, we are able to hear you.
Okay. Sure, I've shared the presentation.
I think it is yet to come up. You are able to hear me, right, Pravina?
Yeah, I can hear you, Arun.
Team,
Can you see the screen?
I think a team will have to make us live. Only then you will be able to. Can you go full screen, Pravina?
Yeah, I'm on full screen, Arun.
team. Pravina is on full screen. So I think we are good to go now. Pravina, you are able to hear?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear.
Don't keep changing. You need to be on full screen only throughout the show, Pravina.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we are good to go, team. Pravina, don't change. Let's be on full screen.
Okay, sure.
Hi all. Good morning. I am Arunachalam, Principal Consultant from HeadSaware, and we are here to present on how to perform 100% data validation in big data testing. Pravina, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi all. Good morning. This is Praveena. I belong to data-centric testing team working with multiple clients, and we are here to present the 100% data validation, how to perform in big data testing.
Okay. Yeah, let's move to the next slide. Yes. So, in this half an hour, what we are going to look at is we see customers moving to cloud, right? And as part of the journey, they have high volume data testing to be performed, right? And typically in data testing, we don't uh, have the time to test, right? 100% data, right? So we were looking at how do we automate it, how do we make it give confidence to the customers, right? So that they get the complete data that is supposed to be moved from source to target, that's achieved. And when there is data transformation involved, how do we ensure that we test 100% data with the data transformation? And if we have customers moving from legacy to cloud, adopting cloud, right? If they want to do reconciliation, how can we do all of these different types of testing as part of their migration journey or an ongoing ETL journey in an big data space, right? That's the key we looked at, and we built this automation framework for on Azure, right? So we are going to talk about that journey and how we achieved it. That's something that we are going to talk about in detail, like how we leveraged Azure Databricks clusters auto scaling capability to bring in this 100% data testing, uh, even when the volumes are running into gigabytes and terabytes of data, right? And how the framework utilizes post processing of these data bricks, and how do we generate, what kind of reports we'll be able to provide from this framework, and also the extensibility, right? How this framework we feel can be extended for multiple customers. And that's the other aspect that we need to look at, right? Because this is a space uh, uh, um, where we have very limited automation, right? Customers tend to do sample based testing, right? And only we are validating key columns, right? Those are the general practices we see across customers, right? So when we have complex transformations, they tend to do manual based. So how this framework can be extended to different platforms so that we increase the coverage. So that's the whole abstract of the entire what we are going to present as part of this the discussion. Right? Let's move on to the next slide. Right. So when we talk about big data testing, right, the 3-4 things that comes to everybody is that one, the volume of data that we associate with big data, right? High volume data test that needs to be performed, right? That's one of the key elements that we need to look at. And number two, velocity aspect, right? So we could have data coming in from feed files. We could have data coming in from IoT systems. So every second we have so much sensors sending in data. So we might real-time streaming is there. So from traditional ETL to moving into streaming data, we need to have this ability to test different volumes of data at the speed in which it is generated also, right? So that capability is also something that we look at from the big data testing aspect. And the third dimension to it is the variety of data that we need to handle, right? When we talk about big data testing, it is not only about structured data, right? So we need to have this capability to handle the semi-structured data, unstructured data, right? All these different formats, data coming in JSON, XML, native protocols from sensors. There could be variety of data which we need to handle, data from legacy systems, mainframe, uh, all these information, right? So we need to process that, right? So that aspect needs to be tested. And the key part is the veracity, which is ensuring that the accuracy of the data in itself, right, is something that we have achieved, right? When we talk about high volume data, whether we have achieved accuracy in terms of data completeness, data accuracy, right? Only the qualified data from source has made it to the target, right? And any transformations that has to be done, it has been accurately performed on those data elements, right? The data could be running into million rows to billion rows or more. So in all these cases, right, rather than picking small sample representative data sets, can we ensure that the entire data set is processed, right? And ensuring that the complete data has moved with transformations in place as we go through different layers in a data lifecycle. So those are the testing imperatives that we look at when we talk about big data testing, right? And specifically, we are targeting at the two dimensions, right? Volume and veracity, right? This is where teams are stuck, right? Uh, they don't have this capability in traditional systems to validate high volume data, right? We need to have very high compute capabilities if we have to process such volumes of data. So uh, or accuracy, right? So since we will not be able to process these high volume data, teams tend to do sample based testing approach rather than ensuring that the accuracy of the data for the 100% data, right? So how do we address these parts, right? That's what made us look into how we will go about this, right? So as we transition, right? So moving to the next slide, we will see how we can address this in a customer environment, right? Say, for example, we have taken Azure implementation in a customer place for whom we built this framework, and uh, uh, we were able to accomplish this entire validation in an automated way, right? So this is a typical Azure data lake architecture that you see, and where we have the layers, data ingestion layers, data storage, analytics, and consumption through reports, right? In a typical layer where data is being processed, how can we bring in validation to give that comfort factor to the customers that the entire process has been carried out in a way which helped them get that confidence that we have the right data in place, and the decision that we make on top of this is going to be making a significant impact, right? So we are good with that. How can we make that? That's what we are going to look at, right? So let's go to the next slide, and Pravina will walk us through, right, how we built this automation framework and how does it work in the next 15 minutes. Yeah, Pravina, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Arun. Um, so here we will start off with a detailed introduction of a detailed explanation of the automation framework, followed by the benefits of the framework, what kind of data validations can be performed with the framework, and the different types of testing that can leverage the automation framework. Starting with the different components we have, this is basically a component-based framework. So the first component is the test driver, which comprises of the SQL queries that are required for performing data validation. And also, the data resides in different locations, be it the on the premise or cloud location, right? The data source config details are stored in the test driver. Also, what are the source tables and what are the target tables? Such level of information is configured in the test driver. The core component is what liaises and communicates with the Azure Databricks cluster to perform the data validation. So this core component picks up the queries as well as the data source connection details, pass it over to Azure Databricks, and then for the specific source and target tables, we will be able to perform data validation, be it big data or any kind of load, like it could be a daily load or a historical workload or a long running big data workload as well, leveraging the auto scaling capability of Databricks cluster. And the final component is the reporting component. Here, the result returned by the Databricks cluster is consumed, and then analysis is performed on top of this result sent by the Databricks cluster, and then a summary of reports is generated in the report dashboard. So this is the diagrammatic representation of the framework, starting from the source layer, and then the middle level layer of the framework, and then the target layer. So in the source layer, like Arun had mentioned, we have different types of databases that are being supported. It could be a relational database or NoSQL database like Cassandra or MongoDB or HBase. And it could also, the data source could also be a file, any kind of delimited file, or even a semi-structured data like XML file or JSON file formats. And the data source could also be on the cloud, for example, Azure Data Lake Store. Also, we are using Azure Databricks cluster. We will also be able to take up the data sources from AWS S3 bucket, which is the data lake for AWS, as well as the analytical database like AWS Redshift. And even within Azure, different storage locations. As for batch jobs, we get the data from batch jobs in the form of files. We can leverage them also. Also, any kind of streaming framework like Kafka, even within Azure IoT Hub or Event Hub, the data sources can be leveraged using this framework. And then in the target, when the data is migrated from the source on the premise, it could be cloud also, to the target. So the target could be any kind of database instances hosted on top of Azure cloud, like Azure SQL database or managed instance or Synapse Analytics, or even the SQL Server on Azure VM, and NoSQL database, which is Azure Cosmos DB. And other data storage locations like ADLS, the data lake Gen Store, Gen 1 and Gen 2, also the blob storage, be it the file share, any kind of data sources. So the data present in both the source and the target layer are populated within the Databricks cluster for faster processing. So here, when the data is present in the cluster, we are going to take it up and then perform the data validation. So the like I said, the test driver configuration will have the SQL queries and the data source config details and the what are those tables, right? This detail is passed over to Databricks cluster, and then depending on the volume of the data, right? It could be big data or any kind of ETL workload. The nodes that are present in the cluster can be scaled up or scaled down dynamically. That is the beauty of auto scaling capability in Databricks cluster. We are making this feature best to use in the framework. So this way, we will be able to perform 100% data validation even for big data. We will be able to configure the number of nodes in the cluster, and then without underutilizing the cluster, right? Whatever is required, whatever number of worker nodes that are required for processing the given set of data is what we will be taking up and then processing with very quick turnaround time. That is the edge that we have in the automation framework. So this result is processed quickly with improved utilization of the resources, cluster resources, as well as very good cloud cost saving is ensured. And the results returned by the data validation will be passed over to the reporting component. So these results will be taken up for post processing, and then a lot of analysis is done on this results. Typically, when we look for manual validation in case of a big data, right? It could be like 25 GB of data that is moved during the data migration. We will only be taking up random sampled or data. Only a subset of data will be taken up for concentration. But in this case, since this is an automation framework, we will be able to do 100% data validation. At the same time, whatever manual work that happens for doing post analysis of the results, right? We as QA testers or ETL or database testers, right? We spend a lot of hours doing the analysis on the results returned by the SQL queries to fetch what is the fallout records. If any of the records have failed during the transformation, is there any business logic that has failed, right? That kind of analysis is also automated in this automation framework. We will talk about the different validations we are covering during this data validation further in the presentation. So this summary report is presented in the HTML format. Moving on, this is the different validations typically performed in any ETL migration, data migration. And specifically, those highlighted here are taken up for this automation framework, be it the data completeness, where we ensure for a specific workload, if all the data from the source is migrated properly and successfully into the target, which is the data completeness check. And then whenever the data is moved to the one place to another, it also involves business logic and transformation rule to be performed. So using the SQL queries, we can write the business logic in the SQL queries, execute on the entire set of data, and validate the business rules. So all the transformation logic can be executed in a single shot, covering the entire 100% data. That's the edge that we have. And also, when a data migration happens, we also involve the data gets aggregated and then summarized before it gets moved on to the target. So this aggregation and summarization rules are also checked as part of the SQL queries. And these are the results returned by the framework. Number one, the count validation. In the summary report, we will be able to see how many number of records have been transformed, be it 180 million or 500 or 1 billion records that were successfully transformed into the target, migrated into the target. What is the number of records? And then orphan records. So orphan records in the sense, the fallout records, those records that were not migrated successfully into the target. What are those records? Both the count of fallout records as well as the entire record set will be given to the QA tester. So this is where we say the amount of analysis that the manual tester puts in, right? That will be enormously saved since we are already automating this analysis part. And then the duplicate records, whichever records that are duplicated in the source and the target, we'll be able to see them as well, both the duplicate keys as well as the entire duplicate records. And then the mismatch records. For example, a set of records have been successfully migrated to the target, but some of the columns would have already failed the business logic. So specifically, those target records in those records that are successfully migrated, but those column level breaks and column level mismatches will be highlighted in yellow. So the it will be a very quick reference for the testers to just pick in the data and then proceed with the defect raising or bugs raising. And then the metadata results, whichever uh, the table schema of the source and the target, is it in accordance with the database schema or the table schema? That also will be validated with the SQL queries and much quicker for all the tables that are involved in the migration. And the framework benefits, like I had mentioned before, 100% data validation. At the same time, how much ever data is being part of the workload, we will be able to scale up the cluster worker nodes, and then faster execution. We will be able to provision much better worker nodes and then helping in faster processing. And then this is all single shot execution. There will be, although there are so many executions, validations that are being performed in a single test execution, we will be able to achieve this. At the same time, multiple source types are being covered here, like we had mentioned, relational or NoSQL or semi-structured data or streaming data. And this is extensible to other cloud platform also. The same framework can be deployed in, for example, AWS or wherever the cloud framework supports AWS, supports Databricks cluster. We will be able to extend this framework as well. And then the report generated is a very detailed report, and then reduced analysis time. So these are the different types of testing that we have. Number one, um, cloud data warehouse implementation, and then migration testing, be it migration into the cloud data migration or ETL, or for ETL projects, and then for data testing or CRM or content management systems. And then for upgrade testing, be it database or infrastructure or ETL upgrade testing. Talking about the benchmark of the framework, in our local environment, we have executed for 500 million records and 12 columns. The source being data lake store, CSV file, and the target being the Delta table within AWS cluster. We were able to execute um, the entire set of data, 500 million in the source, 500 million in the target, within half an hour, to be precise, 29 minutes, 28 seconds, with 6 nodes. Similarly, for 180 million records and 12 columns, same kind of source and target table, we were able to complete the execution in 13 minutes, 23 seconds with the help of 8 nodes. So with the need for data modernization and the need for cloud modernization being skyrocketing, and then other ETL tools and other cloud databases are adopting different data migration strategies and different data processing concepts, be it Synapse Pool in Azure or workload isolation in a Snowflake DB. As from the digital assurance phase, we should also be in par with the kind of data load that is happening currently. So we have come up with this automation framework because it is imperative for us also to take in the entire set of data and then perform the testing in a very fast manner. So that is the entire idea behind the automation framework.
Yeah, Pravina, we have. Yeah, thanks for that, Pravina.
Thank you.
Team, if there are any questions, we can take up now, and or we can have the shared, and we can get back to you once we have these questions. Thank you, Pravina, for giving a detailed information.
Thank you, Arun. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.